Charlie. Yeah, so it finished the stream. So now I have to go back to my own goddamn. Yeah. Yeah. So YouTube did this new thing. It used to be that they would give you like a grace period when your stream broke, but no longer. Let me see. So Zagzy Wisey, and let me see if it is correctly streaming here. It's good to get to like a good start on your adventure. Okay, if it is correctly streaming. All right, cool. Here. So I just have to update the URL in the topic. Okay.
Oh, and we lost Angie and Logic.
Oh, shit. Mobile deposit my AR check. Oh no, did they move? No, they'll move to the right spot.
Yeah, pop
they'll
up on the right
back.
spot.
All right, there we go. Fucking minus.
Sorry, guys.
No, that's all right. All right, so as I was saying, this is IRC D&D number 17. I'm Zagzy Wisey. To my immediate left is Kuntz, the fiery magician. To the bottom left is Logic, the demon slayer, our thief. Just to his left is Angie, the ranger, and the steward of the faithful bear companion. What was his name again?
Fisk.
Fisk the bear. and then Zartet the druid, the patriarch of Goodberry Farms. So these adventurers have traipsed far and wide across a fantastical land, and they have just reached nearly the end of their adventure right here. So this is chapter 17. You can go back and watch the other ones if you'd like. Zartet, Zartet has been our master archivist for this whole thing. What's happened in the past little bit to our adventures?
Well, it's been a while. So previous to last session, we did kind of like a little flashback to kind of find out what set us on our journey. We encountered Pierre the Black and pissed on his corpse, and or rather, we got blamed for it. It seemed. Then last session, we picked up where we were at a fort of some kind of along the Daramaeus, where we encountered a double-tongued demon and went down into this dungeon within the fort where we encountered the Worth sorcerer speaking with a desiccated man who turned out to be a druid named Crozius. Anyway, we end up saving Crozius, bringing him back up into the fort and kind of bringing him back from the brink of death. But we discovered the next morning that he had turned into a log, essentially, with a sprig of new growth coming out of him. And Zartet, myself, knowing the druid ways, we buried him along the shore. We geared up, made sure we had all our spells in place, and headed out to the Daramaeus to go plant the seed of the Morning Star, or whatever the case may be, whatever we need to do down there at the Daramaeus. We had about 12 hours to kind of cross the Daramaeus, I believe, is what we decided. And we, through the first few hours of trekking across the Daramaeus, we saw a bunch of strange sea life and some Batman demons. We encountered kind of a field of large-ass anemone, which Kuntz greased up, and Angie set afire with a flaming arrow. After we crossed around the anemones, we encountered the bat guys that were circling overhead, and we kind of finished them off. I threw my spear off into the ocean, which I want to get back, and that's kind of where we were. We had just slain the Batmen.
Okay. So the party right now is out on the Daramaeus, which is a triple bridge of shoals. It's a natural land bridge that connects the mainland of Iran with the island of, I think it's Moreland, and a northern island that's not springing to mind immediately. But essentially, this is a critical trade route between the Kingdom of Iran and the island of Moria. Without it, the Morians are doomed to starve and wither away. And for the past 2 weeks or so, crazy shit has been going down all the time. The sky over the Darameus is red. It's been raining a caustic and toxic living red rain. And all manner of demons and horribly twisted people have been spreading out from the area of the Darameus. So everybody's wondering the same thing. What's going on at the center of this critical land bridge? So the
The
party.
North Island was Ganzat.
Oh yeah, Ganzat and Moria and Iran. All right, thank you. Glad somebody can remember all this. So thus far, so here's the critical thing about the Darameus. The tides on this world of Arcady are such that once every 24 hours, the Darameus is completely submerged. And it is a terrific current that's there. Essentially, if you get caught on the Darameus when the tide comes in, you will be swept against the shoals and shattered to bits, and no amount of magicking is going to get you out of there. No ship can traverse these waters. So it is critical that our party get their deed done within 12 hours, and they turn around and head back with all possible haste, or they will be caught on the Darameus and surely slain. So it is up to you whether or not you can make it out. I believe at the conclusion of this battle with the Batmen and the way across the Anemone Choke Pass, 6 hours have now elapsed. And so the party still has a fair bit of the Darameus ahead of them. So without further ado, aware that the time is short, you set off across the Darameus, keeping an eye around you. And so one of the things that you've been worried about this entire time is the caustic rain that has taken so many lives over the way. Thus far, you've been spared it, but there are thunderheads looming all around you. And as you travel forward, you're constantly looking up to the skies for more attacks from above. Over and over again, the party has been attacked by mutated birds and winged demons and literal batmen. So you're always aware that this is going on. The seas around have taken on like an unwholesome reddish tinge as you get closer and closer to the Darameus, almost as if it's a red tide going on. And as you march across the shoals, weary always of an attack, you're beginning to see large shapes in the distance, like quite some ways from you. But it's what looks to be whales doing battle with each other. Whales and krakens and other monsters of the deep have been whipped into a frenzy, and you start to see savage battles from afar. Just two whales like clashing with each other, slamming into each other, biting sections out of each other, just wounds as big as a barn door. And you hear these titanic struggles going off, like blasts of spray and just the collision of these massive beasts, and they're not far from you at all. They're only like 300 or 400 yards out, and you can hear the battle going on between them. More and more, you're starting to see strange sea life building up on the side of the Darameus. The Darameus always has a colorful but a colorful amount of sea life all over. There are tidal pools everywhere, but now everything is overgrown, and often you have to move to one side of the path or the other to avoid some snaking tendril of anemones that's grown over the whole thing, and sometimes you have to hack your way through. Fortunately, you don't get to any more spots that are totally overgrown like you saw previously. So the hours go by. The sun is just a faint disk through the storm that's hanging overhead, and you're always keeping track of the time. Because you know if you get too far, you'll have to turn back and your mission will be a failure. So you're pushing yourselves as hard as you possibly can to make it there. 1 hour goes by. Another hour goes by. After another 3 hours of venturing forth, you start to see at the up ahead, some ways, a disturbance, a rise in the Darameus where there should be no rise in the Darameus. The land is starting to slope up, and ahead of you on the passage, you can see that the coral itself, the very shoals that make this place, have started to grow into spikes. And there are all manners of knobs and protrusions. Like a cancerous bone, the Darameus itself is growing up into stalactites and or stalagmites, I should say, just jutting out of the whole thing. The whole thing is becoming a spiky wasteland, and you get to a point where you can't even see the other side. It's just slowly risen up as you've traveled, and ahead of you is sort of almost a canyon between these spikes, a passageway where you'll have to move ahead without the ability to see as far ahead as you might like to.
Was I able to recover my spear?
Sadly, it was washed away along with the tides. You're defended only by your wits now. And let's get down to it. Angie, how many arrows did you have left? Did you fire off a bunch of these?
I mean, I have 29 written down.
29 are written down. And
Yeah, we
then
had a
Kuntz, didn't you have some kind of bow or something like that?
I have Angie's old bow and 28 arrows.
28 arrows? All right, and then Logic, what do you got going on? You got a crossbow or something like that?
I have a bow, and I have 29 arrows.
All right, so you guys are well provisioned with arrows, but they won't be a ton of use in this narrow passageway that's ahead of you there. So as you're moving forward, you're hearing all kinds of sound coming from ahead. It's time to ready weapons if you still have weapons.
Okay.
So we're surrounded by this coral that's overgrown and kind of into spikes and whatnot, right?
Yeah. So it's sort of like a lot of jutting columns, and they're pitched haphazardly every which way. There's no logic to it, not the thief, but the concept of logic. And you can see, they're almost like tree trunks in that you can walk your way through it. But there are going to be sections where it's almost impassable. In some places, you may have to climb to get over these.
I'm going to give Zartet one of my daggers. I have a spare dagger.
Well, I'm wondering if there's like any kind of one of these coral spikes or whatnot that have broken off that I could use as like a club or anything.
I will tell you,
quick
all coral is too brittle to be really used as a club, and it's very abrasive as well. It would be like
wrapped it with some
trying to hold steel wool or whatever. I applaud the initiative, but I don't think you can make a go of it. Oh, is that Mila? Oh.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take the damn dagger.
Okay.
Which dagger was it? It wasn't your crazy dagger, or that one broke, didn't it?
No, it did not. My raptor.
You want Angie's old bow?
No, I'm not proficient with the bow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but
sadly.
even on the neck, are you proficient with a short sword?
Oh yeah, I can take a
I'll
short
give you my
sword.
short sword instead, because that's 1d6 versus 1d4 with the dagger.
All right, I'll take the short sword.
All right, so you're loath to take a weapon not forged of natural materials, but the situation is too dire to worry about ethical compunctions. Okay, so I don't see any choice for you guys but to try to venture ahead. You can try to walk through the corals, through the passageway, and see what's there, or you can try to climb up on top of it and see what's going on around it. It's up to you guys.
Is there any I don't know, ranger, druid, or even cunts? Do you guys think that, and I guess DM too, is this coral above the high water mark for when the tide comes in?
No,
So, okay.
not even close.
Great.
Yeah, you'll have 20 feet of water over your heads before all is said and done. The tides on this world are very powerful.
Well, we're gonna get ambushed if we walk through it, but
I mean, we don't have any other path to take, so
we have to, yeah, and we have to move.
Yeah, time is of the essence, one way or the other.
all right.
I'll go first, I guess.
Okay,
Okay.
tread careful, young Logic.
Yeah, Logic, are you moving quietly or
I am moving
rushing?
quietly. I am moving quietly.
All right, so you're attempting to move quietly. Who comes after Logic in this marching order?
I can go.
All right, then our ranger is picking up Logic, and then who's at the rear?
Me, because I'm the
All right,
mage
yeah,
pussy.
Kunz, you're at the very back there. All right, so Logic, you attempt to creep through this passageway, keeping an ear open for what? Oh shit! What may be going down? No shit.
Every time.
Y'all are some unlucky fuckers. But in this case, it's not the end of the world here. So you start to move into the cave, and you can see that there's no sense to this right here. For a little bit, you're able to walk through, and the spikes are arrayed like columns at either side. Then later, they're crisscrossed in front of each other, and you get to a point where you have no choice but to climb up on to a wall of spikes and try to see over the other side. So, Logic, you have to try to climb up this first. What's your dexterity, real quick?
Well, I have a climb walls rating of 60%, and my
60%?
dexterity is 16.
Okay, I need both. Okay. So you're able to climb up the walls, but as you're climbing, when you set your hand on what you think is a handhold, it's actually an urchin that's sort of burrowed into the coral, and you feel just this sharp lancing pain directly through the palm of your hand, and then you can see, and this is your left hand, you can see the spike jutting through the other side. It has pierced through your palm
Ow.
and juts through the other side.
Seems painful.
Yeah, it just pierces right through your hand like a syringe, and you fall in shock because you can't control your muscles at the end of this. So fortunately, you only drop about 10 feet. When you do so, you take 2 points of damage. So the rest of you see Logic fall and make no real effort to catch himself. And you can see that his palm is just like wide like this, and blood is pouring steadily through it.
Great.
Ouch. Is it, which hand is it?
It's his
Left
left hand, and
Right, how many-
almost immediately, just as a, you don't even need to make a check to know this. You are aware, Zartet, that almost anything that lances like that also contains significant poison. And
Worse.
just by the fact that he's in like a rictus and he's fallen, he's in rough shape there.
Shit.
Okay.
Will a good berry at least, well,
Yeah,
will it
you,
No.
poison? No.
I would have to neutralize poison, which I could do. But it's like a level 4 spell. Like I can only do it once. So like, how bad are you feeling this poison?
he's right now going through convulsions and cannot respond.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Can we pee on his hand like a jellyfish?
I'm not sure that it's the same
You
kind of poison.
can.
Yeah.
Let's try peeing on his hand.
All right.
I think peeing on stuff got us in too much trouble already.
So it's up to you, Zartet. You can try to cure his poison.
I mean,
Or
if he's
you
like,
can let. Yeah, he's in rough shape.
if he's
all but
convulsing
foaming
and
at the
shit,
mouth.
The good berry, you think he should try eating a good berry?
no, Goodberry's not gonna do shit. I say that as a druid. Yeah, I'm gonna neutralize poison on old Logic here.
All right, so Logic was very brave to go on ahead of the rest of you. Okay, your neutralizing of the poison is a complete success. In fact, it was you rolled a 20 to neutralize
All right.
poison
Wow.
on him. So
Nice.
as you neutralize the poison, you're aware of the bizarre taint of the Deramaeus that has normally it's exacerbated every ill. It's really gotten in deep to a lot of these creatures, and you're beginning to have a stronger understanding of the corruption and how also it can be healed. Your natural ability to attune with your surroundings is starting to apply to even the perverse surroundings of the Deramaeus. So you have gained wisdom about the Deramaeus through healing logic. You come to another realization about the nature of the corruption, and you're starting to realize that it is some sort of base, almost instinctual drive that's mutating all of these creatures and driving them mad. Okay, so now that because of Logic's terrible fall there, so Logic, you still sustain the damage, but without the poison, your body begins to fall under your own control. However, any action that you take with your left hand is going to be significantly disadvantaged by the fact that you have stigmata. So just keep that in mind. So now, also because of your advanced thing, everybody knows how to recognize the syringe urchins, and so you can try to proceed back up the wall if you would like. You might
We
also
don't have a
consider
choice.
stopping to bandage your hand because it's still bleeding.
Oh, then yes. Let's.
I think we left the fort with some kind of provisions for
Yeah,
kind of bandages.
you're able to actually Zartet, you can make a check if you would like to try and bandage his hand in a way where he won't be as disadvantaged
Okay.
by his injury. Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay. You tie up his hand, but just the gravity of the situation, you're not sure whether you were able to really assist him there, but it will help prevent some of the infection there. Okay.
Thank you.
So you're left really without other option but to try and continue up the wall again. You have to take it like a little bit more carefully this time. Sorry. Zartet?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I thought it was a hand for halt.
Mm-mm.
You have to take it much more carefully this time. You see that there are a lot of these urchins, and really it's a miracle you made it as far up the wall as you did. So one by one, you climb up, and does any one of you have a rope?
Oh.
Nope.
I
Okay.
don't think so.
If you don't have a rope, then
Okay.
everybody's going to have to make a dexterity check to make it up the wall. It's like not an easy climb, and the wall is quite rough and hard on the hands.
Didn't we have one at
I
one
do
point?
have a bivouac kit, which may in fact have rope in it.
Okay. I'm going to say it's too late now. Kunz, what's your dexterity?
My dexterity is 16.
Kunz, that wall is nothing to you. You climb right up it with your powerful wizardly strength and never even trigger a single urchin.
I'm watching Kuntz as he climbs up to see where he puts his hands and feet.
Okay, you're learning from his example.
I
and
also
then,
didn't break a sweat. I'm
Angie, what's your
completely sweating.
dexterity?
15.
Angie, is no problem at all. Following Kunz's path, you're able to make it up. Zartet, what's your dexterity?
13.
Okay. So Zartet, a few times during the climb, you slip and abrade yourself. You only suffer minor scrapes, but you've begun to bleed, and you suffer 1 point of damage, making the climb up the coral, but you're able to keep from falling down mostly by being careful and trying to follow the path that Kunz and them saw. But you're reminded that you're getting older, and you can't do all the spry things that these young pups can there. Your knees are aching,
Mhm.
having a rough time making it up there. Okay, so the four of you, it takes some time to make it up there, and now it's more difficult than ever to traverse. Now it's like walking across the top of a sort of jungle gym of coral, and the forms become more and more twisted and warped as you go ahead. And as you're moving closer, you can see in the distance a sort of epicenter, the place where the three paths of the Darameus meet, and you can see that the rising columns of coral are all sort of pointing towards it, as if they're drawn, like trees, like plants growing towards a light. And in the distance, you can see just a column of blue flame that sometimes it will be going straight up, sometimes it's whirling around in a circle, sometimes it's breaking apart into different lights, but blue fire is up ahead, just sort of a strange witch fire. So,
Do any of you guys recognize that?
And where we're looking at, it seems to be over the center of the Darameus.
it seems to be coming over the center of the Darameus. It looks like swamp lights a little bit. Yeah, Kuntz, you don't recognize the particular magic that's happening there. So it takes a while to pick your way across it because the coral, as we said, is like very brittle, and you're always having to check your footing. And as you draw closer to the area, you're able to get back to the ground and start making your way along the path. And you come to the clearing of the Darameus at the 11th hour. Finally, you make it through. And it's just before. Help me out here. When did we begin our getting? We began at dawn, correct?
Yeah.
We set off at like 7 o'clock. It's now getting to be about 6 of the evening, and the sun is starting to set. The stars are starting to come out, sometimes behind the clouds there, and it's growing darker.
What
As you
does
move,
the return?
say that
What
again.
does the return path look? If I turn and look backwards, what does the return path look like?
Well, so you guys got down at the point where it became less jumbled enough that you thought you could make it through there. So if you want to return, you're going to have to climb back up, walk over this spiky area, and then you're going to have to basically at this point you need to jog almost to make it back in time. So time is fleeting. You only have about an hour to do whatever you're going to do if you want to make it back in one piece. Just FYI, by the way, Fisk the bear was able to make it up there.
I was gonna ask.
Forgot about
Yeah.
Fisk.
It's like,
So he was
did you
able
read
to
that?
climb up from thing to thing. He's actually like bears are pretty good climbers when it comes down to it. But in order to allow him to climb up, you were forced to remove the bear armor that you had barded him with there.
No.
And he had to unbuckle it all and leave it behind. Just he can't climb up things in armor. And as you're looking around, like sort of all the water and the fact that the tide is starting now to turn around and come back up, you're starting to think that it might not be a fantastic idea for him to be covered in armor. So
Smart.
It's much more difficult to get him down. There, you have to actually coax him down with bits of food to get him to climb back down the coral and everything. And you can see just the pads of his feet are a little torn up by the coral. Yeah, it's a hard life for Fist the bear, but he seems not to care. So you walk through the fangs of coral that are twisted towards the center. And now you're beginning to see the source of the blue flame standing over a huge pit. I would say that this pit is like as big as an arena. And radiating out from it, you can see sort of what look like is as if like blast waves are radiating out from the coral. but flying around, like sort of standing over at the edge of this big pit, is a single person raising something up
God.
high, and you can see just sort of gouts of blue fire dancing out of whatever he's raising, and they're flying around through the air and forming into strange arcane letters and then dissipating. So there's a man standing at the edge of the pit, holding something high, and blue flame is flying out of it over the pit.
Does he appear to be corrupted?
You guys are, I would say, you're about 300 yards away from this person here, so you can't really see exactly from where you're at.
Do any of you guys recognize those letters?
I do not.
Let's you can try and figure out what's happening there if you want, Kuntz. It's a type of magic. You could take an intelligence check if you'd like.
Yeah, I do have 17 intelligence and 15 wisdom.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. So you recognize what's happening, but you get the idea that some part of it is escaping you. So this is a different kind of magic than you're used to there. Generally, the magic you work with is about blowing things up and setting things on fire and changing
Making
one kind of energy to another. And this is much more about channeling and containing something. It's about somebody trying to hold back something gigantic and subvert it to its will.
Interesting.
But
Well, it is blue instead of red.
yeah. Oh, that may or may not, that may or may not have any meaning. It's not like G.I. Joe where like good guys have blue lasers and bad
Yeah,
guys
that's
have
the
red
limitations
lasers.
of my knowledge of magic
Yeah.
there. Blue
It's
guys.
blue?
Good.
Oh, it must be good. Yeah. Okay. So you are now
And do we recognize the guy at all?
from
like, is that
his
the-
back is turned to you. If it is even a he, but their back is turned to you. You and they seem totally consumed with what they're doing.
But Kuntz recognizes this magic as trying to hold something back, like a containment kind of spell or something.
Potentially like contain or control something.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost like a Tupperware magic that will seal and lock in
Yeah, it's
flavor.
it's like a kind of abjuration. You would see it similar to like a bag of holding, or another spell that tries to fold one dimension
laundry?
into another.
Oh, okay.
Do I recognize my arch nemesis Riptor the Mage?
You cannot tell from this distance. You guys are about 300 yards out, so you're gonna have to close in if you want to recognize.
I say
anybody.
we start jogging towards this person. A light jog.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got to pick up the pace a little bit here.
Yeah,
So
time
let's
is of the essence. Okay.
sally forth.
So the four of you begin rushing towards the person that
possible
is. Sorry, what were we saying, Logic?
I apologize. Is it possible for me to jog to the side so I'm not like?
So
with
let
the
me
rest
give you an
of the group?
idea of what's happening here. So this is the sort of triangulum, the space where the Darameus forks into three. And here, it's almost large enough that you would consider it a plane. So
Oh.
as you guys are moving out towards him, one, the land is sloping down into almost kind of like a bowl type crater, and he sits at the edge of a pit that just ascends straight down. So it, I would say that he was about 100 yards away from you guys, and then the whole area that you're at here sort of fans out. So you were at an area where it was maybe 20 yards across, that whole jungle that you just climbed over, and it fans out into that sort of triangle meeting area, which is about 500 yards, sort of from point to point.
Okay, I would like to proceed slightly apart from the group in case I need to work my way around.
Okay, you can move
behind
over
this
to
guy.
one edge. Or are you moving over to the left edge or the right edge?
I will go left.
All right,
or whichever
sinister
way they
as
don't
always.
go.
Okay, so you guys see Logic moving off towards the left, and as you're moving, so you close to within about 50 yards, and you can see that the person is indeed casting some sort of a spell. As they're moving around now, you're starting to think more and more that this is somebody that you've seen before. They're clad in a black robe that seems just worn down to nothing but threads. Almost, it's barely holding together. It's ripped in places.
Is it that guy from the prison that we came across and sort of coaxed back to life? Does it kind of look like that guy?
The guy in the prison, he actually he petrified, and you guys buried him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But the other guy in the prison.
So how close are we to this guy, and has he noticed us yet?
You're about 50 yards out. So you're now at the point where you could probably hit him with an arrow if you wanted to.
Can he hear us? Like if I were to cast invisibility on myself, would he be able to hear that spell?
From 50 yards? No, I don't think so. Because right now, you have the ocean all around you. The wind is whipping up. A storm is blowing in. A lot is going on here.
Okay,
So-
I'm going to cast invisibility on
All
myself.
right, so you're casting invisibility. Logic is creeping over to the left-hand side. Angie and Zartet, what are you doing as you're approaching this guy?
I guess we're just going. I don't know, Angie. We could since
I'll have my
Kuntz is
bow ready, I guess.
All right, so the
Yeah.
bear is going to
draw the bow. I got the sword, but we're just kind of edging forth
Okay.
while Kuntz is kind of going ahead invisible and Logic's flanking around the left side.
Yeah.
All right, so
Cautious.
so as this is all going on, the flames are hurling out of this, and you can see that clutched in their hand is a chalice, and the fire is pouring out of it, and just sort of streams of blue flame, and some of them are flying down into the pit. Some of them are swirling around, and as you approach, the streams of flame fly out and form into the image of a giant flaming eye overhead, and it just stares down at all four of you, and you have been found out. So as you're approaching, just a scathing blue light cascades from the eye, momentarily blinding all of you.
Shit.
So there is a brilliant blue flash, and we're going to pause here so that I can get everybody grab a drink and so forth.
Yes.
This is
Weird.
all about to go down.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Be right back.
There we go.
Fucked.
Yeah. God damn it.
All right. Sounds good. I'll be right back.
See you guys. Or see you, Zartet.
BRB.
What are we gonna do?
I have a drink, so I'm just going to sit here and sip it.
Oh, I'm gonna go. I'll get some. I'll be right back.
I got it. You can stay.
That's cool. I got it.
I'll be right back. Come on. Stay. Stay over.
Hi, my name is Brett.
We're gonna
I
die.
don't know where Glitch is. I'm going to go find her. Hang on.
I don't know, my
Glitch.
cat is either.
Glitch.
Come here, dog. Yeah, I don't know where K10 is. Probably up in Kayla's room. Right.
Yeah. He did go there. Whenever he runs, you know.
Thanks.
Watch out.
Because it's the winter time, she sleeps by the main pipe for the radiator. Because it's like super warm there.
Stays warm. That's smart.
Oh yeah, it's basically her personal sauna.
Oh,
Oh, what's going on there?
he's so cute.
Oh shit.
They're called mighty lions. I guess the camera flips them, but
Oh yeah. No,
Oh,
they're not flip
oh.
for us. Oh shit. She's getting in there.
Just takes him. Man, I'll have to try that with K10.
Oh, she just
He
takes
tries
him
to,
right
like,
out the
come at me
bag.
in
oh,
meeting.
that one just fell in my crotch area here. Sweetie, up here, up here.
No, she's
Where'd you go?
disinterested.
Oh, there you are. Oh my god.
Oh shit. She's got ambushed.
Mm.
Watch out high. Oh no, come back here, sweetie. Come back here.
Oh.
Oh, thank God. The pineapple is less sweet.
I got the pineapple.
She come here. Where are you going, sweetie?
Aw.
Where's your other one?
No, how's K10 doing?
Good. He's extremely chaotic.
Extremely chaotic.
Yeah.
He's
just
got
knocking
brain
shit
worms.
over.
Oh, he's knocking shit over and like breaking stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he can't see
chatting.
shit.
Yeah. We don't think he can see very well.
Oh, is he blind? Oh, crazy.
He's not
Almost.
blind.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean, he can
legally
see
blind.
movement pretty well.
Yeah.
But like when you can see him like trying to focus on things that are near.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that's I don't know anything about eye shit. But
Maybe
or
he's
if that's,
just-
like near.
Have you
foresight.
thought that he might be blinded by ethnic hate? Maybe he's just racist.
It's certainly possible.
He's invoking prejudice.
Oh, shit. I forgot all about that card. All right, so I have an artist's rendition of what the flaming blue eye looks like. Ooh.
Is that V3 or whatever?
No, this is
V2?
V1. Yeah.
Whoa.
That's really cool.
That's cool.
Oh, wow, it's crazy in the light, too. Holy fuck. Yeah, it's so
I
shiny.
want one.
But yeah, it's like a blue flaming eye staring down at the four of you. And while this is going on, the streams of fire continue to fly from the cup, and the man has not turned around towards you. He seems wholly focused on the pit.
But
Do
it's
we
Riptor?
recognize the chalice?
Yeah, is it Riptor? Well, it's
At 50
obviously
yards, it does
No,
have like
okay.
a particular golden gleam to it. Yeah, there's very little doubt in your mind that it is the chalice that you guys carried all the way from the slaver's ship.
Wow.
And that means that the person who holds it is probably Riptor, the Worth
Who's the
mage.
best shot?
Can I take a shot?
You can absolutely take a shot.
Yeah, let's do that.
Angie, shoot.
All right, so Angie, you knock an arrow, and right now I would say that you are only about 30 yards away. What are you shooting for? What part of him do you want to hit?
Center mass.
Yeah, center mass.
All right, nothing fancy. Center mass. Your arrow flies wide. Yeah, it's just
Oh, shit,
Rigged.
glitch. Oh, she spilt my Coke. Hang on. I'll be
okay.
back.
Yeah, hold on. We gotta wait for
Aw.
this still. It's getting shaggy too.
Chaos.
Yeah, cats are no good. But I'm so
He's
fucking
pretty
happy with her.
cool.
Look where she's like torn up the scratching posts and everything. She's like spilling Coke, jumping up, taking treats right away from him.
Yeah, they just do whatever. and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. Like, I guess I'll deal with the aftermath here.
Mm-hmm.
You say he's about 50 yards away?
So you guys have actually closed to about 30 yards away from this guy. So Angie takes a shot at him, and it seems like she couldn't miss at this location, but the thing just like twangs wide.
Did you feel like you missed?
Hmm?
Did you feel like you should have missed, or did it do something on its own?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. Like there's a lot of adrenaline happening right now. You guys are all very aware that if you don't turn around within the hour, you're all going to die. So,
Is my ring doing anything?
Not at the moment. Which ring is this? Which one is it?
The fire opal.
The fire opal ring?
Ooh,
No,
yeah.
I don't think any of the rings have done anything the whole time.
Is my ring doing anything?
Fucking you.
Yeah, it's my mood is cisgender.
It's a mood ring.
I look fabulous.
Perfect.
All right, we gotta wait for Kunz to deal with the aftermath of owning a cat. So Kona is saying that the scruffiness of Kunz's cat might be due to the type of litter that it has, which I have no idea. Was it like rolling around in the litter or something, Kona? I have no idea. Like the IRC
Okay.
is a good place to get cat experts of all sorts. Get dust-free litter, apparently. Is this even a thing? All right. Well, Kunz, like you have been admonished to get dust-free litter for your cat because it looks scruffy.
I do have dust-free litter.
Oh, well then this is totally bullshit. You can't listen to people on
Mhm.
the internet about cats. What do they know?
What did somebody say?
We just who was it? Glitch was like looking kind of like punk rock in the background. Let me see. Oh, let's get a look at this cat. Yeah, is she always like that?
Yeah, she's always been gray.
Okay. Yeah, she just looks like Shaggy at the moment. I don't know what's going on. Is that her winter coat?
Yeah, it's almost certainly her winter coat. She's very hairy.
Okay, gotcha.
Sweetie, why don't you just stay? Stay.
Oh, the cat's powerless to stop you. Okay. So Kunz, while this is going on, so Kunz is invisible, and then Zartet, you have a chance to act.
All right. I'm going to cast Spatial Hammer.
Okay.
It has a range of 10 yards per level, so 70 yards. So
Yeah.
I could definitely
So you're gonna
reach
try
out
and
to
nail
him.
this guy with a spiritual hammer. How much damage does spiritual hammer do?
It's as much as a hammer does.
Okay.
So let's see. It strikes as a magical weapon with a bonus of +1 for every 6 experience levels. So it has a +1. It's like a hammer +1.
All right. So you call on the power of nature to hammer down upon this figure with pulsing force, and you see the ethereal hammer fly through the air and slam into the back of this person, and he staggers slightly forward, and flames lick out of the goblet, and then immediately a ray of burning light shoots from the blue eye overhead and blasts you. So you are struck by blue arcane flames,
Shit.
and you suffer you're engulfed in blue fire and have to drop to the ground and roll to try to put yourself out. And the ground is nothing but like coral. It's like trying to roll yourself out on pumice. So you suffer 8 points of damage from the ray. And then as you're burning and trying to put yourself out, you suffer an additional 4 points of damage.
Jesus.
How many total is that? Sorry, I
That's
wasn't.
12
I didn't
total.
hear.
Yeah.
12 total. Okay.
Fuck.
But the
How does he
figure,
respond?
while struck and knocked slightly forward, does not fall over the surface into the rift, and continues doing what they're doing. You can see that the flaming eye.
Sorry. Quick question. Do I lose concentration on the spiritual hammer with
You
that?
do lose
blow?
concentration with the
Fuck.
spiritual hammer. Yeah, you were
Can't
you
roll
were
a
engulfed in
concentration
flame.
check?
There's no
Okay.
concentration camp for I'm on fire and I have to stop, drop, and roll.
Concentration camp.
So
Okay.
he has not. He appears not to have been phased, and he's still concentrating on his
He's
thing.
still concentrating on his thing, so it wasn't powerful enough to stop him. What you do see is that the burning eye is now darting to each of you. It's making a circuit from Logic to Angie to Zartet, And so Logic, you can see as you're sneaking up the just sort of a whirl of light starting to like race around the iris, very similar to when it just blasted Zartet, and it's pointed at Angie now.
How
So
far
you,
away is it?
so you have crept up to within about 20 yards of this figure. You could dash in,
I am
or you
going
can
to
take the
dash in and
time
stab him in the
to
back.
shout a warning to Angie.
I will, as I'm dashing in to stab him in the back, yell at Angie.
Okay. So you take the time to yell to Angie. Angie, this gives you a bonus to your dexterity check. So the eye is about to blast you, and you can just feel like heat starting to rise all around you. So you have to make a dexterity check. What's your dexterity?
15.
All right, you're able to sprint out of the way, but your clothes almost start to catch on fire as the eye focuses on you, and then just a beam of blue flame strikes the ground behind you, and you can just smell the coral scorching and all the little creatures that are alive and inside of it dying. All right, so Kuntz, you are invisible. Now you have a chance to act.
So what's going? So he's still casting his spell or channeling, I should say.
Yeah, he's doing
And
something.
this eye is darting around.
Yeah, the eye is darting around, but the eye never looks at you. It's unable to see your invisible self.
All right, so I'm gonna maintain my invisibility. So I'm gonna position myself closer to the channeling guy. How far away am I now? Am I still 50 yards?
You can creep up. No, so you've been moving forward whilst invisible. So you can creep up as close to him as you want, as you
I'm
dare.
gonna creep
Really.
up. I'm gonna creep up as close to him as I think I can safely get to him without him hearing me. So I'm gonna
You can get within
move
10
slowly.
yards, no problem. Yeah.
I'm gonna move slowly, cautiously 10 yards and make
Okay.
sure
Creeping
not
up
to, like,
within
step
10
on
yards
any
is going to
branch.
take your entire turn.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what
All
I
right.
want. So my
So
turn.
he's creeping in. The rest of you have no idea. So next is Logic. Logic, you are rushing at this character here, and you're gonna try to attempt to stab him in the back. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
With the
Classic Logic.
Yeah. Classic Logic is running right at the guy with
With
his
the
dagger,
angry dagger.
trying to stab him in the back. Okay. So which dagger are you trying to use? The
the one that counts.
yeah, the wait,
The raptor claw.
The raptor claw.
The one
So
that wants it.
so you were attempting to rush in and stab him with the dagger. As you do, the eye focuses on you again. What's your dexterity?
16.
Okay. So you're able to dart to the side as a column of blue flame just scorches in an arcing ray. But you are thwarted in your attempt to like dash in and stab the guy at the back because you have to dive to the side to dodge. All right, so Zartet, you have now been able to put out the blue flame. Just in FYI, you guys are starting to hear a very low rumble in the background, and you're seeing more action just sort of out in the waves. You don't have time to focus on it there, but you can see huge forms starting to move towards the epicenter of all of this.
Fuck.
Okay. So Angie, you have gotten to the other side and you have recovered from springing out of the way. You now have the chance to act.
Okay, try to take another shot.
You can try to take another shot. Also, while this is all going around, Fisk is just sort of uncertain what to do. You know, he
Can I
doesn't.
send him to like try to just?
You could try to
maul
give
the
him an
dude?
order to attack the person.
Yes.
Okay. So let's check whether or not Fisk understands. So Fisk seems to understand what you're saying. So you urge him forward, and he charges at the figure. So while he's charging forward, you have the chance to take another shot with your bow.
Yeah.
Okay. So this time, the arrow thuds into his back, and just lodges in his left shoulder, but he never stops casting. So you can see the arrow shoot in, and you can see blood begin to drip down, but he seems wholly consumed with whatever he's doing. So
Scary.
yeah, he just pays no mind to you, and the blue eye darts back towards you, and then again, you can feel just heat starting to rise, and once more, you're able to tumble out of the way, but it takes like a lot of your time and concentration, and you just have to scramble because the beam seems to be getting wider and harder to dodge
shit.
here. All right. So Kuntz, you have crept up very, very close to this person here. You can see your cherished goblet in his hand, and he seems to, in sort of just your arcane sensibility, you can see that he has unlocked some power of this goblet that you could never see previously. There's sort of a matrix of energy flowing out from this. And from this distance, you can begin to see lines connecting together. It's as if this guy is constructing a huge funnel of energies that's feeding down towards the center of the pit there. That's what you can make out while you're skulking invisibly, just a few inches away from this guy.
All right. Where is Fisk in all of this? How
So
close is Fisk?
Fisk is barreling right at this guy. You have probably a chance to get off a spell before Fisk can hit him.
All right. I'm going to cast lightning bolt, I guess.
Oh shit! It's on like the Quran. How much damage does your lightning bolt do now?
1d6 per level up to 10d6.
Okay. What level are you right now?
76.
7.
Okay. 6,
Holy
7.
fucking shit.
Let's
76. I guess.
12. 15. 18.
Fucking Kuntz saving the day.
23. 28. And then I think you get
Holy
one
shit.
more. So yeah, 32 total points of damage from this lightning bolt. So
System shock.
you
Hell yeah.
your anger at the man who stole your
Crunch
chalice,
goblet.
yeah, the crush goblet, just overflows, and you're able to channel your fury into a tremendous bolt of lightning. So it strikes the back, and suddenly he pauses in his spell casting. The intensity of the blast is enough that his hand he like sort of jolts in place, and you can hear like a sort of crack running through the air, like the sound of just of like metal pinging through ice. You know that sound when ice starts to break up,
Yeah.
or when train tracks start to like bend from far away. You start to hear that, but it's all throughout the air. Like you have
Uh-oh.
interrupted something
Our
massive.
hair's all standing on end.
Yeah,
This
and
Rip
immediately,
Torn actually is the-
immediately,
Shit.
you are blasted by a beam of burning light, because as you cast the spell, your invisibility fades. So immediately, you take 9 points of damage, and you are ablaze and have to drop to the ground and roll, or in some other way quench yourself.
Sorry, 9 points of damage.
9 points of damage immediately, and you catch fire from the burning blue ray.
And specifically, what was the damage caused by?
The damage was caused by a burning ray of arcane flame
Burning
from
ray.
the eye. And the eye seems focused on you now. You have caught its undivided attention.
Alrighty then. Is my turn? I guess my turn's over.
Oh yeah, very over, and you are on fire.
My turn.
I'm gonna stop, drop, and roll
Yeah,
while they take their
you
turns.
can immediately do that. All right, so Zartet, you have managed to put yourself out.
All right. Where's Fisk at this point?
Fisk is barreling towards the guy, but has had to detour around the beam of fire that just engulfed Kuntz.
Is there any plant life down in this pit, like around near this guy at all?
Not really. Yeah, you can't. It's not. It's because it's all bare coral.
No seaweed or
Most
anything?
most of it is animal life, for the most part. Everything that
Just
you're seeing
coral.
is more animal than vegetable.
Okay. Well,
Well, isn't coral really a plant?
No, it is a colony of monocellular organisms
yeah,
acting.
it's somewhere between
collaboratively.
a plant, an animal, and a mineral.
They're just animals. The mineral part of it is just a byproduct. They're absolutely animals. It's a living thing.
Yep. Okay. Let me. All right. I'm just gonna use my my full action just to move closer to this guy.
Okay, so you're rushing towards him, trying to
Yeah,
get
I'm like
there
running
while
behind
the
Fisk.
while the bear is converging. So logic, you have the chance to act. You can see the bear rushing in, and so you now have a chance to spring forward and try to attack again.
I'm assuming I'm
Okay.
close enough to where I can.
Yeah,
pretty
you're
much saunter up
absolutely
to the
close
guy
enough
and cut
to
his fucking spine.
rush in. Oh hell yeah! So you rush in just as the bear is arriving, and with the raptor blade, just drive it almost entirely into near where the arrow struck him in the left shoulder, and it's a forceful blow from behind. He is taken by surprise. So
Yes.
5, 4, 1. So you do a total of 10 points of damage to the back of this person, and are able to almost sever his arm. You're able to just cut through the entire, like, sort of bottom. Hold on, let me flex.
Is that the
Oh,
one
this
he's
is going
holding
on.
the chalice with?
Say that again. No, unfortunately, this is his left arm, and the chalice is held up in his right. But you see blood begin to gush from there, and then as this is happening, the bear crashes into him and just hammers him down against the ground with a single strike of his mighty paw. Fisk.
Do I have time to grab at the chalice? in
So
this moment?
actually, none of you have time to do anything right now, because as Fish bats him to the ground, he holds onto his grip on the chalice and is crushed to the floor. And then while this is going on, the eye just blasts all three of you with a scalding ray.
No. No.
And so 3 and then 6. So Logic, you take 6 points of damage. Angie, Fisk catches on fire, like his fur is
No.
scalded, and he is on fire and howling. And the Riptor also takes damage from being caught in his own burning ray. So all 4 of you, or all 3 of you, are now on fire, and he's clutching the goblet. And at last, he wheels around towards the party that's attacking him from behind, and you're starting to hear just those strange whipping. It's like a bent saw sounds racing through the air, and all of the sort of torrents of flame that he has been casting and channeling around are beginning to flicker out and sputter, and a red glow is rising from the wide and yawning pit ahead of you.
Oh no.
Did I take any damage from that other blast?
Which other blast?
The one that just which 3 of us did it engulf?
So the 3 that were engulfed were Logic, Fisk, and Ripter himself got caught in that one, and Kuntz was out of range there.
Okay.
So he was trying to contain it.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrible.
Well, he was trying to do something with it. But so he falls to the ground with the goblet clutched in his hand. And so as the arcane flames are rolling out, and the blue eye overhead closes. It just shuts and falls out in a shower of blue sparks. And he just falls to the ground, like no more fight left in him, and begins to just burn up into blue flames until nothing is left, but just a singed corpse. And the goblet is like held in his hand that is burned down to nothing but bones.
I'm gonna grab the goblet.
You are on fire. You're not grabbing anything at the moment.
Can I run up and grab the goblet and try to put Fisk out?
So Fisk
Or
does
jump
not
on
know
Fisk.
stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
It is running around and is very agitated, and he's on fire, just howling. So you have no power whatsoever to stop this bear or to calm him. He's freaking out and like streaking around on fire. So Kuntz, you just cast a very taxing spell. Zartet, you were actually the closest and most able to act.
Yeah, so I'm gonna continue my movement up to Riptor and try to like kick the goblet out of his hand.
Okay. If you kick the goblet out of his hand, it might go like flying into the pit. You want to kick
Well,
it?
I'm not kicking it like a punter or anything like that. Just like a little kick out of his hand.
So just to give you an idea of where like he's fallen, you guys are all at the edge of this pit, right? You're right over a crevasse. So if you want to kick it, there is a chance that it's going to go flying into that pit. If you want to do something more careful, you can do that as well.
Okay, well, I guess I'm a little confused because I thought I was at the top of the pit when I cast Spiritual Hammer. Then I made a movement. So
okay, so yeah, when you cast Spiritual Hammer, so this whole time he has been sort of standing on the edge of the pit as everything's been striking him and so forth. The pit is sort of at the center of the Derameus. So this whole time you guys have been moving towards it. So right now, just to give you an idea of where everybody else is, Riptor's body has collapsed like about 5 feet away from the edge of the pit.
Can we throw him into
Kuntz,
the
you're
pit?
about 10 feet away. Logic, you're right there with him. You're like about 7 feet away from the edge of the pit, rolling to put yourself out. Angie, you were a little bit further out. You're about 15 feet away. And then Zartet, you were about 10 feet away from where this is happening. Fisk is just running around in circles. Yeah, he doesn't know what to do about being on fire. He's just a bear.
okay, then I will move closer to Riptor
Yeah, you could
as much as my movement.
you have
will
enough
allow me
movement.
to.
You're the one that has the chance to act right now. So you can kick the goblet away. You can grab the goblet. You can do whatever you would like at this point. You were close enough.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna like kind of knock it away with my foot. I'm not giving it a full kick or anything like that.
And before he does that, I'm gonna roll around the coral trying to put myself out. And I'm like, grab the goblet.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. Okay. So Zartet, he has a death grip on this goblet. You try to kick it out of his hand, but even though he's burned down to just nothing, you can't dislodge it from his hand. But you could bend down and take it if you want. Yeah,
I'm just gonna come down with the short sword and cut his fucking hand off.
Oh shit!
Nice hand of
Take the
Vecna.
Oh yeah. You absolutely. Your sword just with a clink, it hits against the coral after chopping through his hand like a cleaver. So the bones and the goblet roll away from him, and the body of him is just, it's almost sort of starting to melt and become like this weird gelatinous black. Like his flesh is blackening and sinking into the coral.
Does it look edible?
Uh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
it looks a little bit like gelatin, actually. You could, yeah, it's like a blood pudding. But so he's sort of like melting into the ground, and there's nothing but like bones and clothes left behind, and now this severed goblet.
You're good. That's my action.
Okay. So the air continues to seethe and writhe, and in the distance on either side of the Deramaeus, you were hearing the lowing of sea beasts and serpents and so forth, drawn into a rage. And from the deep from the south, you begin to hear thunder roaring.
Shit, that's the way we came from.
You guys actually came from
The south.
no. You came from, I want to say, the
Oh,
north.
west.
Yeah, the north, more from the west than anything else. So you were heading, but Iran is south of you, essentially. You're like heading like along the Deramaeus. You're kind of heading from the west to the southeast along the.
So this is a question I was going to ask at the start,
Yeah.
but is any one of the legs particularly shorter than any of the others?
The one that goes to Ganzat is like a little bit shorter, but it's a pretty close. It's not like a, it's kind of like a Y. You know what I mean? But in any case, more important than that is the fact that the gauntlet has been severed. So Fisk has managed to put himself out just by running around, and he looks like a sorry sight. Like a lot of his fur is burned up.
Like those
And
hairless bears.
he's not completely
Terrifying.
hairless, but he just has like big patches
Chupacabra.
where he's been singed.
Oh god.
And
I have a
so
good berry. I'll give him.
Can I give Fisk my healing potion when it's my turn?
uh
Or are we out of combat?
so you guys are out of combat right now. You could try to pour the healing potion over him to try to get some of that healing happening there.
Okay.
Yeah, Bear is not going to drink a potion. But you could try to
I
pour
will-
it on him, and it would have some.
Unless
do have the
unless
silver
Zartet has a
powder.
healing spell that works on bears.
We have the silver powder too.
Just FYI, like the silver powder is no joke. Like you give that to somebody who's about to die, and there's still a pretty good chance it'll kill somebody. It's no joke within the storyline. So
we still
yeah,
would have-
yeah, you wouldn't do it for just like a simple burn. You would do it for
Okay.
somebody like has a festering arrow wound, or somebody like has to chop off some of their fingers or something like that. Every time you use that silver dust, there is an increasing chance that it will just kill you. And there are religious connotations like wound up in it too. Yeah, it's a severe deal in this world. So it's not something you would put on a bear ever. That's sacrilegious. So, but yeah, Kuntz, if you want, you can try to get close enough to the bear and shower him with your healing potion.
I will do that.
Okay, so Kuntz is making it rain on the bear. So Zartet.
Oh, sorry. But like after the bottle is empty, because like it's a potion in a
Mhm.
bottle, I want to go over to the guy that melted. I want to take a sample of him, like a scientist.
Mm.
Okay,
Like
so
a
you're
scientist.
busy like flicking healing potion at this bear. So Logic and Angie, you are closing in. Zartet, you are close to the goblet that's there.
Mhm.
And more, you're just starting to feel like a rumble running through the Deramaeus. And the disturbance that's in the air above is only getting worse.
Mhm.
It just feels like the sky is breaking apart
Mhm.
over top of you. So
What's the lay of the land in this pit? Is there, is it just like like a playa, like a just flat ground, or
okay. So if you look
is there
down,
craggy or?
if you look down into the pit, you can see that it drops almost directly. This is an impact crater. So you can see that something has slammed through the Deramaeus and bored a deep hole. And you can look down, and the sea has rushed in and filled it. There is water churning down there. And as you look, there is a whirlpool spinning down there, and some of the remnants of the blue fire are sort of racing along the edges of the waves that are down there. And if you look into the pit, sort of the depths of the whirlpool, there is sort of like a very deep red, so deep red it's almost black there, down at the core of it, and you can sort of start to see a red light glowing through the whirlpool, and you're starting to hear the sound of the whirlpool rushing up from that pit, just this.
We can't hear you.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm glad that got cut out because it didn't sound good at all. But it's just like a low, roaring kind of drone, growing stronger all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Before shit goes down again, I'm gonna pop my 1+1 good berry just because I'm low on health.
Yeah, eat a good berry.
Same as fuck.
Yeah, everybody is chowing down on good berries, and
We get +2, yeah.
yeah.
Do I have
Getting
one?
2 hit points from good berries.
I think I
Sorry,
gave.
so-
Everyone should have one.
I have
all got
one if you
last
don't
time.
have one.
I don't know if I have one.
And we all divvied up some
Um,
on the way out.
I'm going to, I'm just regarding all of the, the pit here. I'm looking down and I'm seeing the red shit underneath the water. I'm pretty certain that's, some manifestation of Worth or this demon that crashed down with this meteor. And just kind of under my breath, kind of as if it's a prayer, I'm uttering these words that Vasanthus told me, this druidic kind of phrase. I don't know what the druidic phrase is exactly, but I'm just, kind of absentmindedly just kind of like staring into it and just like saying this under my breath.
So as you speak, the sacred and secret words there, with a dead Worth magician lying at your feet, a singed bear at your back, and a yawning abyss before you, curiously, you start to see images of 3 animals. You start to see a graceful crane just flying low over the fens, with Cain beneath it, just sort of gracefully drifting over the marsh. Then you see a pair of dolphins, like sort of racing after each other through the waters. Just one diving after the other, just rolling through the waves. And then after all those, you see a turtle sort of making its way up onto the shore, just like pushing the sand aside with its flippers, just climbing up onto the beach to lay its eggs. And in your mind, you are asked to make a choice between these 3. Like, which one of these images appeals to you the most? And you realize that that the words that he spoke to you are part of the druidic ritual where you become so in tuned with one of these particular spirits that you can assume its form.
Hell yeah. Finally.
Yeah.
I mean, the dolphins sound cool.
Okay.
It would be a dolphin, right?
Yeah. So you feel yourself drawn towards that sort of dolphin spirit. Sometimes they save sailors that are in need. They're playful. They're intelligent. They're fierce hunters and terrible rapists. And all of this appeals to you tremendously. So you feel like a sort of a secret that you have known all along. The ability of how to take on that form unlocks. So you now have the ability to take on the shape of a dolphin.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Is there a particular name for him in his dolphin form? Like, I don't know, Echo or...
Zeko. He can call himself whatever he wants. He's a fucking dolphin.
Oh, I just.
But
Right,
so
I feel
that was
this
the
energy.
purpose of those words. It was to
Sweet.
unlock your potential as a shapeshifter.
Whoa.
So
I-
you start to have this
now-
realization, and but while this is going on, everything is rumbling all around you, and you can see the hand, the ground begins to shake, as if there's an earthquake happening, and the
I'm gonna grab
hand
the-
with the cup is
I'm gonna grab it.
skittering closer to the edge. All right, so Zartet, Logic, you are
I'm
going
grabbing the
to,
forearm.
you're going to have to try and grab this thing. What's your dexterity?
16.
You got to rush for it. All right, so the earth begins to shake, and you die. You have to dive for this, and you just skid across the abrasive coral. You take 2 points of damage just diving onto like this hard rock,
Worth it.
but you manage to grab the forearm as the cup skitters closer to the edge, and you try to wrench it back, and it seems like the cup is just about to drop from the grip, but you manage to pull it back, and you lay hands on the goblet. Well, actually, you said that you wanted to grab the forearm. So if you like, it's up to you. So you pull it back, and the goblet is just sitting there, out of reach.
In the forearm.
But the ground is shaking, and the skeletal grip seems to be breaking up on the
Then I'll
crotch
grab for
goblet.
the goblet.
Okay. So
Oh, God.
when you grab the goblet, immediately blue flames begin to lick from the top there, and you start to have an understanding, just almost as if it's unlocking an ability to understand space and time in dimensions that you could not previously. Like the air around you begins to shimmer. You start to be cognizant of the passing of each moment of time, and you start to see that time is a continuous flow, like almost a serpent writhing back and forth, and you begin to suspect that it's possible to halt the flow of time or to snip from one point in that serpent of time to another. So while all this is going on, the rest of you are seeing Logic's eyes like roll back in his head, and seeing him drop to his knees, and blue flame is just gushing forth from this goblet, rolling every which way. So you can act. Right now, Logic is sort of overwhelmed by the knowledge of this the goblet.
Andy, do something.
I don't know what to
Okay. I mean, our Kuntz, your magic.
So while this
What
is
do you
going
want me
on,
to do?
as this is all happening, there, you start to see movement from within the pit, and just like a sort of whipping shadow that just rolls around. You just see like a red light is burning up, and a shadow whips across it, and then another, and then another, and then you hear something slam against the cliff face, and again the ground shakes, and just something huge has just crashed against the side of the pit, but you can't see it, and you can hear something trying to climb its way up to you, and it just sounds enormous.
Fuck.
So looking into the pit, I just see like,
Do you want to go down and look into the pit?
I'm gonna look into the pit because I have intelligence and wisdom, so maybe
You have intelligence and wisdom to look into.
maybe
All right.
I can figure out what's going on a little bit
So,
better.
I mean, I want to look into the pit with
all right,
Kuntz.
both of you look into the pit.
We're holding hands. We're
Yeah.
holding hands.
That might not be great.
So, as you look down into the pit, what you're seeing is just huge tendrils slamming against the side of the pit, and they're misshapen, just the same way that you saw all the other creatures mutated. These are huge tendrils. They're at least 30 meters long, and each of them is maybe like 10 meters wide, and they're completely encrusted with barnacles, and different anemones are stuck to them. There's all manner of things that are stuck there. Their surfaces are just a riot of sores and pustules and things jutting out that shouldn't be there, carbuncles, and they're just slamming into the pit, trying to find purchase, curling around it, just sucking onto the side of the pit. And you start to see this beast pulling its way forward up the pit, just slamming one tendril after the other and wrenching its way forward. So a huge monster is crawling its way up and about to crush out of the pit and jump onto the lot of you there. A formless abomination.
I back away.
Okay. So you wisely dash back while Logic is still caught. All sorts of epiphanic visions are dancing before your eyes, Logic, and you are unable to act at the moment. So the first of the tendrils crashes over the pit, and the abomination makes its way up, just ripping its way up. This monster is huge. It's easily, I want to say, the core of it is probably 50 feet across, and it seems like just an enormous kind of starfish, but it just seems like everything that has been down in the ocean there has been crashed together into one form with 5 arms that are, parts of it look like an octopus, parts of it look like just bones and raw flesh, and just the abomination has just been put together from all the different sea life that was alive in this pit, and it has risen into this pentagonal form and is climbing up the pit. And at the core, at the very center of the whole thing, you can see the eyeless face of Riptor represented in the pit.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. So all of you are backing away from this thing, I would assume.
Mhm.
And then immediately you see it just sort of slam over the pit, and then one of its tendrils just lashes out and smashes into you, Logic. And it does a world of hurt. You take 5 points of damage from being flung aside. And what's your strength?
My strength is 13.
13. Okay, you were able to hold on to the cup, just with like the last of your will there. You just go tumbling aside. So this thing is just sloughing its way up over the edge, just pulling its bulk up there. While this is happening, Kuntz, Angie, and Zartet, you have a chance to act.
I have a quick question. Is this coming from the pit? Can we do melee attacks on it or only ranged?
You can attack it any way that you want. If you get close to it, like the smell coming off of this thing is terrible. It's just like seashells. Have you ever brought seashells home and that like funky rotting sea smell is just coming off of this thing in waves? You have no desire to get close to it. It is a foul thing. And it just seems like a lot of the things that make this amalgamation are only half alive, and parts of it are rotting and falling apart.
I'm gonna cast Enlarge on Fisk. It
Whoa.
lasts
Wow.
35 rounds, so basically the whole fight probably.
How much does he grow?
Height, width, it's 10% a level, so 70%.
70%. Okay, so you take the
Wow.
bear, who's
Almost
already pretty
Almost
big,
double in size.
and he almost doubles inside. And Fisk is looking at this monstrous thing like, what the fuck? The bear does not know what to make of this, other than like the natural inclination of all beasts to revile that which is unnatural, which this certainly is there. So the Riptor abomination begins to barrel towards you. It's now lurched itself fully up onto the platform, and it is rushing forward. So that was your action, Kuntz. Fisk is now 70% larger, and then Angie, you have an action.
Probably tell Fisk to just defend us, especially Logic. Did
Okay,
he just,
you
like...
order Fisk to attack the abomination, and he accepts and charges forward yet again, singed but not defeated.
Fisk is also 70% more handsome right now as well.
Is that how enlarge works?
So with Fist being 70% larger, how's he compared to the starfish, or this Riptor fish?
This
What's
Riptor fish,
the-
the core of it is probably I would say from end to end, each tendril to tendril, it's probably about 100 meters in size, and the core is probably like 30 meters apart. So Fisk began as a fairly large bear. He's probably...
I think he was like 6 or 7 feet.
He's like 7 or 8 feet standing up. So now he's like about 15 feet tall. He's like the size of a polar bear. But he's still tiny in the face of this giant multi-tendrilled monster.
I'm gonna try Spatial Hammer again.
Okay.
Going for the eye, the Riptor's eye.
Okay. Remember, Riptor has no eyes. His
Or
face is like
whatever
fused together.
I saw
is at
it.
the center of this mass that is like
Okay.
its mouth or whatever.
You fire off a spiritual hammer towards the center mass there, and you can feel the hammer strike against it, but it's as if you're like hitting a hammer against the big toe of a giant. Like it strikes the being, but it takes no notice of it. You can feel the energy depart from you. You maintain your concentration on it, but
Okay.
All right, and then Angie, you have one chance to act. Like now that you've ordered Fist to go, and then it's on.
Okay. Just checking. Like, we're supposed to plant this seed, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm trying to think of a
this
place
is
to
the memory.
plant it.
So, what if I put it on an arrow and shoot this thing? Do you think that will do anything?
I don't think that you have time to
Okay,
attach the
okay.
silver seed to it. So if you ever tried to like stick something to an arrow, it's not
Seems like a pain
simple,
in the ass.
right? Like an arrowhead is just like a pointy piece of metal. And the seed, as far as you can see, is just like a smooth and silvery teardrop. So you would have had to like actually sit down and do something with
Just
it.
be sitting there and be like, okay.
But
The seed's definitely on my mind, Angie. So
it's
Yeah.
always
I just don't know what opportunity I have to use it. So
yeah.
Do I?
So Angie, it's Angie's turn to act real quick, and then Logic, you're gonna be next.
I mean, I might as well just try to take a shot or something.
Okay. So you're gonna take a shot at this guy.
It's not going to do anything.
Okay. Again, you're very right. The arrow like juts into it. You can't miss. It's so big that you can't possibly miss it there. But it just seems like it doesn't do a tremendous amount of damage either. And this thing is rolling sort of cartwheeling towards the lot of you. right, so Logic, you have a chance to act, and then it's going to be upon you.
Okay. Am I only able to? Well, oh god. Okay.
You can't backstab something that has no back.
No, I know, but hold on. I've been thinking about this since the whole acid trip. Am I able to travel through time?
I don't think that you can travel through time.
Can I travel through space?
Like you are like loked out on this cup, and your mind is like reeling with revelations. But right now, you're like 6 hours after the acid trip, where all you want is Waffle House. You know what I'm saying? You know, like
I do know what you're saying.
yeah, you're shaken by the revelations, not empowered by them.
I'm gonna run away
Okay.
with the goblet.
you run away for the goblet.
Can I time travel? No. Okay, I'm gonna run away.
That's the wisest thing I've heard all day. All right, so you start running away with the goblet. So, immediately, Riptor's face begins to glow, and at first it's like that same blue flame that you saw before that formed the eye and so forth. But almost immediately, it turns into like ultraviolet, and then a column of black flame shoots towards you, but then it forks as it's going towards you, and then it forks again and again and again, and just falls apart into a useless fractal, and doesn't manage to hit anything. And you can just see the abomination writhing back and forth, like confused as what has happened. Kuntz, you have the chance to act.
I'm gonna cast haste on Fisk.
Okay. You cast haste
Or Fisk.
on Fisk.
I know, right?
And so now Fisk is not only gigantic, but he is enormous, and he closes the distance and charges directly at this massive beast, like literally like 10 times its size, and begins tearing into it with fang and claw, just ripping into one of its big tendrils there, and is doing his utmost to bring the giant down. So the abomination. Oh Lord,
Sorry.
the abomination seems distracted both by the bear attacking like one of its tendrils, and the fact that its spell like fell apart into like a useless fractal. You can just see hesitation and things falling apart, and in the distance, you can see like on either side of you, you can see the huge forms of whales have drawn close they've drawn close to the arena, but they can't get up to where you are. They're creatures of the sea there, but all
For the
along
abominations?
they don't necessarily look abominated. You can just see their heads like breaching over the surface of the ocean, sort of looking at what's going on. There must be 10 or 15 enormous whales watching this all go down. These are the survivors of the battles that were going on. Like some of them are bleeding, some of them are like tremendously ripped apart and so forth. But it looks like a whole pod of whales has made their way here from the northern part of the Deramaeus, and they're looking at what's going on.
But they don't look abominated or corrupted.
You're too far away to tell for certain, but they can't get
I
up
could
to
hear
where you
them
are.
and I could see them though.
Yeah. Well, you can see that they're going on there, but you can't like make the distinction. But there are a lot of them. There are like maybe 12 or 15 of them, like a whole pod. So Zartet, you have the chance to act.
When Logic ran away from the Riptor starfish, it sent, you said, like a black thing.
It began trying to cast like that same blue death like flaming ray that it did before,
but it didn't work.
But it sort of corrupted and fizzled out and like fell apart.
All right, I try to get its attention. Like I'm like doing jumping jacks, like over here, over here.
Okay, you cannot gain this thing's attention. It's oblivious
No.
to you. Yeah, like it only understands. It doesn't seem to be fully intelligent. Like it seems like as it's moving, its attention seems to be like whipping this way and that, and never lingering on any one thing for a large amount of time. So if you want to get its attention, you need like a bigger gesture in some kind of way.
Um. Well, I'm still concentrating on the spiritual hammer, so like
Yeah. You could try and nail it with the spiritual hammer again.
yeah, I'm like I like send the spiritual hammer like just whipping all kinds of ways around him, not really hitting him, but I'm trying to make it apparent that like I'm controlling this hammer and that I'm like,
Okay. So you try to whip it around and distract the beast, but you're unable to. It's just it's too erratic, and you can't do anything. All right, Kuntz, you have the chance to act.
Alrighty then, I'm going to. Is there one out of the 5 tendrils? Is there one that we've been particularly attacking, like Fisk?
Yeah,
or anything?
Fisk is tearing up. I want to say, so it's hard to keep track of where all the tendrils are because this thing is loping forward, and it seems to be chasing after Logic. But Fisk is just really tearing the shit out of this one tendril.
So
Unfortunately,
whichever one Fisk is at, I'm gonna cast all of my magic missiles at it. I think it
you're gonna
is
magic missile the tendril. All right.
4 missiles, and each one is 1d4 plus 1.
Okay. So 1, so 2, 5, so that's 7, 4, and then 3. So it looks like you do 14 points. So shimmering magic missiles fly through the air and blast into this tendril arm as Fisk is just wrestling with it and bear hugging it and so forth. And it just blows these huge pock holes into the arm. And together, you and Fisk are able to almost sever this tendril. Like you're tearing it in half, and the bear is like just supernaturally fast as he's ripping into it. He sees the spot that's been injured by your missiles and immediately dives on it and starts worrying it with his jaws and just ripping into it there. So then immediately, as a response to your action, a tendril slams down. It brings another tendril to bear that slams down, trying to strike you, and it misses. And then the second tendril whips over as this thing is cascading forward and just slams into Fisk and mashes him against the ground. He's struck hard in the back, and it just takes his legs out from him and just flattens him against the ground. A hard, like, crunching blow. Yeah. So, Fisk gets nailed there. By the way, Jira is asking there are 16 whales there. Anyhow, he wanted to know. I'm telling him. So Fisk has just gotten nailed in the back. Logic, you are now able to act. You were running away with the goblet.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. How much of the sort of mythology of the seed did Zartet tell us in the intervening time between getting the seed and getting to this point?
None of you really have an idea what this thing is, right? Zartet is not a devotee of the Laughing Star. None of you guys are followers of the Laughing Star. All you know is you had a weird religious experience at a lake, and that something gave you this seed and told you to plant it where it would do the most good.
Or the most bad?
I don't think it said at the most bad. Like, I don't think there were any instruction set given to Zartet when he got that. It was sort of a mythical or mystical understanding that he had that this was an opportunity to heal the land. But he was never given specific instructions what to do with it, and he certainly didn't relate any to you. Like your pressing problem is this giant, monstrous starfish thing that is barreling down on you, and then just fucking toll chocked your animal companion to the ground.
I still don't have an understanding of what the understanding that I have gotten from the goblet. I still don't fully comprehend that.
It was as well. You should not, because it was mostly incomprehensible knowledge. Like this is beyond your personal ability of mathematics. Essentially, you
Oh.
stared into something deeply beyond your comprehension. This is an artifact that
How-
you need a magician to understand
Right.
and relate.
That's what I was wondering. How far away is Kunz?
So Kuntz is not too far away from you. Honestly, he's probably about 30 feet
Okay.
away.
I'm gonna understand, I guess, that it tried to kill me, but it couldn't. I'm gonna like stop in my tracks. I'm gonna run around, and I'm gonna run to Kunz, and I'm gonna put the goblet in his fucking hands.
Okay, so you're gonna try and run to Kuntz to give him the
Yes.
goblet. All right. So while this is going on, Angie, you just saw this monster just hammer fist to the ground. What do you want to do?
I want to go see if he's okay.
He's hurting for certain. Yeah, he got drilled there, but he's still kind of in a frenzy here, just trying to attack the tendril and so forth, and the pain has only made him madder. So
Well, can I attempt to hit it with a blade?
yeah, you can absolutely
Bisbee's
charge at
blade?
it. Yeah, you have Bisbee's blade,
fuck
as
it.
I recall.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's chop this thing
Um,
off.
So you charge at the tendril that Fisk is attacking right there with Bisbee's blade. And with a furious swipe, you chop deep into the tendril that is an amalgamation of so many different creatures, anemones and squid and just bits of God knows what there. And you manage to chop entirely through the tendril, and black ichor shoots out in every direction. And immediately you are counterattacked by the abomination, and you take 6 points of damage as a tendril bats you aside and sets you flying. And when you land, you scrape across the ground and take an additional 2 points of damage. So that's 8 total.
Damn.
Yeah, so but you did manage to chop down one of its tendrils, and
Nice.
ooze and gore is seeping through it right there. So Zartet, you have a chance to do something. The monster seems like stymied, but you are starting to see like sort of rings of darkness forming around the eyeless face of Riptor. Just sort of a ring is forming around, and the sort of crackling in the air has gotten constant. You're starting to feel like something is about to shear apart. The pitch is getting worse.
What's my proximity to the beast? Like, how close am I
You're within 10 feet of the monster.
Would I be able to cast neutralize poison again?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna cast the reverse of it.
Okay, you're gonna try and poison the monster.
Yep.
Okay. Unfortunately, it has no apparent effect. The thing is already like a living corruption there.
Poison.
Okay, but yeah, so good try. It doesn't have any effect that you can see. Maybe it will take effect later. All right, Logic, what are you up to?
I'm closing the distance between me and
Closing the
Kunz,
distance.
and
All right, so Kunz, you see Logic come running up to you
thrusting the
with
goblet into
the goblet. You can take it if you want it.
Yeah, I got the goblet in my right
Okay.
hand.
So when
give him a
you
high five.
gain the goblet, now its power has truly been unlocked. And immediately your mind just rushes forward. It's like being high on a drug. So many things that you couldn't understand before are flashing through your mind. So many arcane concepts that you weren't able to get before.
Like trigonometry.
More more like ideas of how fireballs could explode much larger, how lightning bolts could fork and strike 3 targets at once. Just you start to understand deeply the destructive potential of the magic that you've been wielding. So, fueled by this insight, you have the chance to cast a spell immediately.
Oh baby, I'm gonna cast
Friends.
Friends.
700 charisma. You know what? Probably web. Web seems to make the most sense right now.
Okay.
Unless, like, now that I have this knowledge of magic, would sleep work on this creature, or is it just too big for sleep?
The first thought that came to your mind was web, and immediately you started channeling down that idea, and it started to twist and change in your mind, like something about what's happening here. So the magic of the goblet is about containing things and holding them, but the magic of what's happening with this abomination is about mutating things and changing things, and the two fields seem to be shifting. So you begin to cast web, but in your mind, each of the strands is just a single molecule thick. And instead of a web of just sticky strands, what you have is this web of razors, where every strand is just razor sharp. So these arcane bands fly at the creature and just begin to shred it to bits. Like everywhere it comes into contact with it, it cuts through it. It's like a mass of sharpened cables fly at this thing.
Like barbed wire or something.
Yeah, like
razor wire. Yeah.
like monofilament, like cutting through cheese with one of those wire thingies. It is just slicing it to ribbons, and the spell is intensely destructive to it. So the abomination just is caught in this writhing mass of cutting force and falls to pieces in front of you. And you can just feel power thrumming through the goblet with this new understanding of the true nature of destruction. So all of you just watch this huge monstrous thing come apart in sheaves. It's just ripped limb from limb by the power of Kunz's spell. So
Fuck Ripka, man.
The true power of that artifact has been unlocked by you, Kuntz. It magnifies your abilities tremendously at this point. So the spell does its terrible work, and the remains of the Riptor abomination come apart, and just there is a cascade of blood and all manner of foulness. But slowly it just falls apart, and the injured bear slowly rises to its feet, and you can see that this monster has been at last defeated, and Riptor is no more. Kuntz has his goblet back. So now you begin to see the true nature of what's going on, and the roaring of the Darameus is worse than ever. The whirlpool at the center. So Kuntz, through your arcane understanding that you have gained with possession of the goblet, you understand that somewhere deep in the Darameus there is just a terrible force, something that should not be on the Ark whatsoever is down there. And it's something immediately, once you start to understand it, you shrink from it because you know it's something beyond your power to combat. The corrupting force that is struck the Darameus and sucked down into its depths is deep, deeper than any man could swim, and it is poisoning the earth, tainting everything. And left to its own devices, the land will never recover on its own. So this is what you've been able to glean just through what you're seeing there.
Shit.
And I will tell you guys now that it took a while to fight against this guy. The 11th hour is nearly over. It is nearly the time where you must head back if you want to have any hope to survive.
Let's head on out quickly.
But
Mm.
if you leave things as they are, nothing will have been solved. Essentially, yeah. You managed to kill Riptor, but Riptor is not what's causing this. It's whatever has crashed into the Darameus, and whatever is down there is causing
Can
the
we
problem.
go down there,
wait
or
for
is it like a
Zarkhead.
sheer cliff
It's
wall?
it's about a 50 or 60-foot drop from here down to what is essentially a whirlpool, just leading down into the depths. If you leapt into it, you would surely be killed.
But
Okay. I'm gonna cut with the short sword, or if I could borrow one of Logic's daggers.
The short show's gonna.
I'll cut whatever you want for you.
I'm gonna cut like the hem of my shirt, like the lower hem,
Mhm.
just to like make a cord. And I'm gonna tie it tightly around the seed of the laughing star.
Okay. You tie the cord to the seed of the laughing star.
Mm-hmm. And well, Logic and Angie have disappeared.
They'll be back. All right. Let's take 5 because it might get
Okay.
really real in a second here, and then let's take 5, and then we'll be right back. Peace.
All right, we're taking 5, Logic and Angie. But what I just did is I cut the cord off my shirt and I tied it tightly around the seed. And when we come back, I'll tell you what I'm going to
Okay.
do with it.
I know where we're going with this.
Perfect.
We'll wait for you.
All right, be right
We'll
back.
wait for you.
And that,
Same. Shit.
I'm gonna mute it.
Yeah. No, I did not. It's okay.
Behold. Oh shit! There's K10. K10's getting big. Good lord.
Probably getting properly fed now.
Yeah. Oh, he's getting along with Puppy now? Puppy's not even eating him?
Ah, what was that? Ah. Oh god, chaos.
Well, it's nice that he's getting along with Puppy now.
Yeah, I mean, they still try to like psych him out and stuff, but like for the most part, like
Yeah.
he doesn't give a shit. It's really weird. Like she'll try to chase him and stuff, and then he just doesn't care. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Child of
Yeah.
abuse right there.
It's like he's just this kind of like, yeah, leave me alone. I'll swat at you or whatever. But he's never like mean at them or anything, and they're not mean at him, so that's pretty cool.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Puppy will just like stare at him and be like, "Oh, I'm totally gonna get you." And it's like, Okay.
The cat just doesn't give a shit. Oh lord.
No, he just lays here. He just wants to sleep. If you can see
What? Look at this cat.
him.
The cat is lazy as fuck.
I know.
Oh, now
He's
puppy
like
wants attention.
Milo.
Oh, and then Milo's like, oh.
I like that the tails just go nuts when they're playing with each other too.
Yeah?
Oh, there's K10. Jesus.
No, I just went and grabbed him. I was just, yeah, I was like, oh, yeah.
No, you can't.
Okay, 1 second.
Is K10 single? Glitch needs a boyfriend.
Yeah, he's single as far as I know.
Glitch, you want a
I mean,
boyfriend?
the only other cats in this place are 2 male cats as well, unless he's gay. I don't know.
All
Glitch
cats are
is
gay.
eating supper right now.
All cats are gay. Wait, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Oh, Jira just said K10 is a homosexual. See, his gaydar is perfect.
Oh God, chaos.
Oh, there you go. They're all gone. We might have lost Zartet here.
Here.
No, he's here.
There we go. Oh, but we lost Angie. It's all over.
No, but like all 3 of the animals are like pointed right at the door.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
That's probably where the ghost
He's
is.
a real life ranger.
Hey, how deep is this pit? Like, where? How
It's
far
about
down
50
is the
feet.
water?
It's about 50 feet down to the water. So you could dive off of it. But
Mhm.
yeah, if you start trying to climb down there, you're never getting back up.
Oh shit. Do we have any way of locomoting people out of things? Like, can we fashion a rope while Zartet's down there?
Well, I'm waiting on Angie here because she
Yeah.
might have some ideas. But yeah, it's all about to get real. And just FYI, like right around now is when y'all need to start heading back if you ever want to make it back.
Well, you said we can't go back because we have to fight this thing.
Well, here's the thing: if you leave now, essentially the mission is incomplete. You did fight the thing in that you slew Riptor and his abomination. But in terms of what you set out to do, like if you want to change what's happening to the Darameus, like at this point, that hasn't been resolved.
Because
Well, we have to do that.
I think we might have to head back and sleep and heal up and get spells again. Because if there's one more big battle coming, I'm out of spells essentially.
Is there another big battle coming? Or if we just plant the seed, I don't know. Can we make it back? That's 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah. So I'll give you the rundown of what's happening here. So
not trying to
Riptor's
die.
abomination has been defeated. The pod of whales is still watching on from the Truly's. Getting tore up. So Riptor has been defeated. There's thunder on the horizon. Darkness it's almost night has fallen there. And the situation around Moria has gotten worse and worse. You now have a chance to attempt to get through here, but Lord only knows if you can make it through this way again. The corruption will probably continue to worsen as you get through.
Sorry.
So now's your chance to try and do something here, but
Okay.
time is fleeting.
How long does it take me to turn into a dolphin?
You almost immediately, once you get into the water, you can try to change form.
Can I try to change form on my way down into the water?
Yeah, you'll by the time that you hit the water, you will hit the water as a dolphin.
Okay.
Just by the way, as a druid, when you change form, your possessions and so forth are incorporated into the new form. And
Right.
yeah, this is all new to you, but just for our studio audience here, so everything that he's carrying on him will become a part of his form.
So I take the
Intrinsic
seed
to him.
that I've tied, up tight with this cord from my shirt. I hand it to Angie, and I say, I'm going to dive in. Whenever I dive in and you see me down at the bottom, toss the seed down to me and I'll grab it.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'm leaping off the edge
Okay,
as soon
so
as I say that.
Zartet,
I'm turning into a
you just
dolphin.
watched Zartet leap off of the edge. So Angie, you have this thing bound in there. So, all right, Zartet, you were able to leap 50 feet down and midway through transform. And as you transform, you can feel your body growing sleeker and more streamlined and
Sexier.
muscular and young and full of vitality and power.
And vitriol.
As I don't think any vitriol, but
Vim and vigor.
yeah, vim and vigor, and your wounds are healed as you shapeshift. So the damage that you sustained is gone. So Angie, you see Zartet drop down and midair changes form, shivering into a sleek silvery bullet, and he drops into the whirlpool. Zartet, when you drop down, immediately you're struck by the force of the current and so forth. So Angie, you only have a moment or so to throw the bundle down to him. He's fighting against the current.
Making dolphin noises up at her.
Yeah. Try to get it down to him best I can.
Okay.
All right. And I see it coming and I like try to leap out the water and grab it.
Okay. All right. Here is the critical throw.
If I don't
Can
grab
you
it,
catch?
I'll try to swim after it.
Can you catch this whole thing? It was a 1. No, it was fine. You're able to catch. So
That would just be my luck.
you were able to catch in your jaw the bundle containing the silvery seed of the laughing star, and immediately once you've got it, you begin to swim deeper, and you can feel the whirlpool sucking you down. And as you're moving down, you're just aware of a new like spatial awareness, where you're able to sort of recognize like the shapes around you, even though it's dark. Just through the echoes of things bouncing off of the stone around you, you can see what's happening. And taking like a deep breath, you dive down into the center of the whirlpool, and you find that like deep beneath the Deramaeus is just networks and networks of caverns through the coral, where all manner of strange life used to live, but everything has been corrupted and ruined by this thing. In the low light, and also your vision is much better at picking things out in low light. And as you swim down deeper towards the source of the thing, you begin to feel a shift in the air. You can feel just the intrinsic wrongness of the thing that has befallen this. And you just swim further and further, and you start to feel the pressure bearing down on you, the weight of all that water above you, everything squeezing down on you to the point where if you were a man, everything inside of you would have been crushed, but you're much better adapted to fight those depths. So at the bottom, there's a strange and scintillating light, and you can see nestled in the depths, what has crashed down is sort of a spiny diamond, just a multifaceted, spiked form that juts out in every direction, and it's constantly shifting. The faces are moving nonstop, and what you begin to understand is what has crashed to Earth is just the utter essence of chaos. As you look down into it, one moment it's one way, another it's another, and each permutation that it goes through just has all these connotations wrapped up into it. You feel like you could stare at it forever. But this is the mutating force that has ripped everything asunder. This is what has poisoned the land. It is a very fragment of primordial chaos that has crashed down to the Ark and is embedded here. And as you stare at it, you're faced with a choice. Either you can embrace this madness and throw off your former life and meld with it and become a force of endless shifting metamorphosis. Or in your jaws, you hold the seed of the laughing star, which perhaps can quench this monstrosity.
Temptation.
It's just like a force. Is it any like physical thing or anything like that, or is it just kind of like a?
To your eyes, it is a glowing, ever shifting sort of diamond of many forms there. But what your deeper understanding, like in the depths of your druidic wisdom, you understand that this is a piece of everything before chaos coalesced into order. It's a piece of primordial chaos, and left unattended, it will continue to corrupt and shift everything around it until it returns back to that state of perfect chaos. Like it will continue to distort life forms. It will continue to progress towards a state of entropy.
I'm just gonna swim right at the fucker.
You swim at the fucker with the silver seed in your mouth, and as you make contact, everything starts to fall apart. You can feel yourself starting to shift, starting to unravel down to your very being, and the only thing that's holding together is the silver tear of the laughing star as it crashes into this otherworldly force, and just before your last breath, you realize that your mission has been accomplished and your purpose has been fulfilled. So,
Hell yeah.
the rest of you, standing over the precipice, looking down into the pit, can see that the sort of crimson glow rising from the whirlpool has begun. It starts to flicker and fade, and fades into darkness. And slowly you realize that Zartet is never coming back from that pit. But immediately the sort of shifting, shearing sound in the air begins to fall apart, and you can feel almost immediately like a tension bleed out of everything. You understand that he was successful in his effort, and that you must hurry if you ever want to make it back in one piece. So
Are the whales still there?
the whales are still watching there, looking inscrutably at all of you. There's no way to tell what they're thinking or why they're here, but they stare on just the same, these titans observing all that goes down. And so you have only you have no choice but to hurry. And you make your way back over the ravine and across the crooked. Everybody is like a little bit ginger here, but you're aware of the need to hurry. All the way back across the Darameus. For 12 hours, you march and walk, totally exhausted, and you start to see the tide lapping up at the edges of the Darameus, and you wonder if you have the strength to make it on. And a few times, logic falters, and then Angie is there to lift him up. And then when Angie can't make it anymore, Kuntz is there to lift her up, possessed of a strange vitality by his new communion with the mystical gauntlet. And then at last, just as the surf is starting to rise over the edge of the Darameus, you see the keep in the distance and find the strength to go on and make it back to land before you can be swept away. So
Damn.
the party has managed, through the sacrifice of Zartet, the druid, the party has managed to destroy the corrupting force in the Darameus. And by the time you make it back, the sun is just beginning to rise over the land, a land that will take generations to heal, but that can heal and will not be destroyed thanks to his sacrifice. Thank you, Zartet.
Hell yeah!
Rest in
Thanks,
peace.
Thank you,
Zartet.
Zartet.
All right.
Hell yeah.
And this
My
concludes
pleasure.
our IRC D&D adventure. I want to thank everybody who was a participant and everybody who joined in. And thank you, Zartet, for the ultimate sacrifice with Logic, Angie, Kuntz, and Fisk the bear look off into the horizon thinking about the valorous druid who gave his all to save this land.
In
Well,
dolphin
I like to
form, no
believe that he
less.
ascended
Yeah.
into the Laughing Star.
No, Lord.
He'll be back, just like
Yeah.
Crozius.
No shit. She watches after
Yeah.
those who wander. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And this has been IRC D&D. I'll catch y'all all later. Good luck.
Bye.